This is your English news broadcast here on ERi-TV, reporting to you live from our headquarters at Asmara at 10:30 p.m. I am Zahra Badouri, your local and international. Up next, first, your headlines for this broadcast. Foreign Minister Osman Saleh held series of bilateral meetings in New York. Seminar on integrated organic agricultural practices and more on your domestic. On your international, Poland briefly closes airspace on NATO increasing presence in the Baltic Sea. UN reimposes sanctions on lifted under nuclear deal sabotaged by West, and more. Welcome to your news in brief. Foreign Minister Osman Saleh held a series of bilateral meetings with Foreign Ministers and other dignitaries of several countries in New York yesterday. In the productive meeting with Mr. Badr Abdul Ati, the Foreign Minister of Egypt, the discussions centered on the critical issues of regional peace and security in the Red Sea and the Horn of African region. The two sides reiterated their firm commitment to strengthen the enduring friendly relations and cooperation between their two nations. They further stressed the need for adherence to sacrosanct and fundamental practices of sovereignty and international integrity of all states as the bedrock of international relations. In the same vein, Foreign Minister Osman and Mr. Ahmed Attaf, Algeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad, held extensive discussion on deepening the historical and friendly relations of the two countries and coordination and alignment of their positions at multilateral fora. Addressing the dynamics of peace and security in the Red Sea and Horn of African region, both ministers underscored the sanctity of international treaties and the principles of international law and fundamental pillars that govern friendly relations between nations. Furthermore, Foreign Minister Osman Saleh also met with Mr. Abbas Arghachi, the Foreign Minister of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The two sides discussed enhancement of bilateral relations as well as cooperation at multilateral fora. Foreign Minister Osman Saleh further met Archbishop Paul Richard Gallagher of the Holy See and exchanged views on advancing friendly ties of cooperation between Eritrea and the Vatican. Strengthening of bilateral ties and cooperation in multilateral matters and fora were also the central issue of discussion held yesterday between Foreign Minister Osman Saleh and Mr. Kim Song-young, the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. In the meeting with Mr. Denis Mukand Kalondris, Minister Advisor to the co-presidents of the Republic of Nicaragua, on international policy and affairs, main issues discussed included strengthening of bilateral ties and international matters of mutual concern. The two sides further affirmed to work closely to defend the principle of the UN Charter. On your preceding domestic, as part of efforts to ensure, in quotations, safe and nutritious food for everyone, everywhere, the Ministry of Agriculture hosted a seminar on 25th September at My Nafhi Hotel focusing on integrated organic agricultural practices. The event, titled Organic Farming Practices for Safe and Nutritious Food Production, brought together experts from the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Marine Resources, Ministry of Education, the Institute of Higher Education and the colleges of Hamal Malo and My Nafhi to share findings and discuss initiative solutions. Mr. Semere Amlesom, Director General of the Agricultural Extension Department, delivered the opening and welcoming remarks. He emphasized the urgent need for a food system that is both productive and environmentally friendly, highlighting the risks posed by synthetic agriculture, such as degradation of underground water resources and soil quality. he stressed the benefits of organic agriculture across all sectors in the country to ultimately ensure the production of safe and nutritious food. Mr. Nathanael Habte-Mikhail, also from the Agricultural Extension Department and chair of the organizing committee, presented a comprehensive overview of the prospect and potential of organic farming in Eritrea, along with the committee's achievements to date. He highlighted the country's unique agricultural challenges and underscored the opportunities integrated organic farming offers, particularly in terms of economic growth and environmental sustainability. Mr. Tamasgan Gabrameskal, representing the Ministry of Marine Resources, underscored the interconnected nature of agriculture and marine ecosystem. By implementing sustainable farming practices, we can protect our valuable resources for future generations, he quoted. These innovations, he further quotes, are not just about growing crops, they are about building a prosperous, sustainable food system. He also noted that the expansion of Abdur Enterprise into 3 branches, an initiative producing fish amino acids and seaweed liquid fertilizers, which was launched following the establishment of the National Committee on Integrated Organic Agriculture in the year 2021. Following the establishment of the National Committee on Integrated Organic Agriculture in the year 2021, the day featured a series of insightful presentations on various aspects of integrated organic agriculture. Topics included the effect of neem oil and leaf extracts as pest repellents and fertilizers, compost quality index assessment, evaluation of moringa, guava and seaweed liquid fertilizers on hydroponic fodder, and the use of blended eggshells, banana peels and coffee grounds as organic liquid fertilizers. Participants highlighted several key issues, including the potential to reduce compost production costs to make it more affordable for farmers, the necessity of gradually transitioning from synthetic to organic farming to protect both the environment and human health, the importance of research-based and evidence-backed policy decisions, and the need to enhance studies and decisions on integrated organic agriculture. They also proposed new perspectives and alternative solutions to strengthen the sector based on existing research findings. The seminar concluded with closing remarks by Mr. Alamseged Asgadom, advisor to the Minister of Agriculture. After thanking all presenters and congratulating the coordinators, he stressed the importance of continuing research and collaboration to advance organic agricultural practices in Eritrea. He also underlined the potential of integrated organic agriculture to significantly contribute to food security, environmental protection, and the production of safe and nutritious food. World Tourism Day 2025 was commemorated at the Abraha Bahta School for Hearing Impaired in Asmara under the theme Tourism for Sustainable Transformation. Mrs. Leah Gabrab, head of the Ministry of Tourism in the Central Region, explained that Tourism Day was marked with a week-long series of programs in collaboration with government institutions and national associations, stressing the need for effective management and follow-up to fully harness the benefit of tourism. Mrs. Leah noted that the government of Eritrea has put in place a clear policy framework for the tourism sector with future generations in mind. She added that Eritrea's rich natural and cultural resources, coupled with the peace and security prevailing in the country, provided a strong foundation for tourism development. Mr. Fasaya Hagos, coordinator of the event, commanded the contribution of practices and highlighted the week's activity, which included sports competition, bazaar, traditional costume shows, and other cultural programs. He also announced that the program would continue until the 29th of September. Mr. Solomon Girmay, chairman of the Tourism Service Provision Institution Association, emphasized the importance of tourism in national development. He affirmed the association's readiness to contribute to the country's overall development program. The event was attended by Mrs. Askalu Mangorios, Minister of Tourism, Mrs. Taha Tasfa Mikhail, President of the National Union of Eritrean Women, and other senior officials. World Tourism Day, held on 27 September, was observed for the 46th time internationally and for the 30th time at the national level. Up next, your international feed. Stay tuned for more. And on your international line, Denmark reports new drone incursions while neighboring Norway says it is investigating 2 drone insights. Poland has briefly closed parts of its airspace southeast of capital Warsaw, citing unplanned military activity as Russia launches a new wave of strikes against Ukraine. The deployment on Sunday of Polish and Allied aircrafts in the country's airspace comes as a transatlantic security bloc. NATO announced that it is upgrading its mission in the Baltic Sea in response to drone incursions in Denmark and reported drone sites in Norway. The latest development highlighted the increased tensions in the region as diplomatic efforts to resolve the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine falter, raising fears of a wider conflict spilling into Europe. In the latest incident, the Polish armed forces said it scrambled aircrafts to ensure the security of its airspace after Russian-launched strikes on Ukraine. It described the action as preventative and aimed at securing airspace and protecting citizens. The enclosure of the airspace in the cities of Lublin and Razanzor was expected to last early until morning. According to Ukraine's air forces, air raid alerts were in effect across the country on Sunday in response to Russian strikes. Earlier this month, Polish and NATO forces intercepted Russian drones which entered Poland's airspace, marking the first direct military engagement with Moscow since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine began in 2022. The UN Security Council reimposes sanctions on lifted under a 2015 nuclear deal in a move targeted by a European state unfoundedly meddling Iran's nuclear program while disregarding the West's own role in undermining the accord. The Council restored the ban on Sunday. They will again freeze Iranian assets abroad, halt arms deals with the Islamic Republic, and targeted the country's defense missile programs. The move came nearly 2 days after the United States and its allies predictably voted a draft solution submitted on delaying the so-called snapback mechanism inside the deal that would return the ban. The countries voting the measures, as well as other Washington-allied states, took the move as the latest step aimed at trying to accuse the Islamic Republic of diverting its peaceful nuclear energy program. Leading the decades-long drive, the allies have constantly ignored the International Atomic Energy Agency and an exceptional failure to produce any evidence of the claim, despite its subjecting the nuclear program its most intrusive inspections in history. The U.S. itself left the nuclear deal in the year 2018 in an illegal and unilateral move, and once tied unsuccessfully in 2010 to trigger the snapback in another similar unlawful attempt. On Saturday, Foreign Minister Abbas Agrachi wrote to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, reiterating that such attempts were legally and predictably followed and therefore null and void. He reminded that the Western states had already fortified any right to trigger restoration of the sanctions due to their own sheer non-commitment to the nuclear accord. Additionally, the official call on the UN to prevent Western misuse of its mechanisms, saying no UN resources should be allocated to revive the sanctions committees or panels that were set up back in the year 2006 to enforce the economic bans. The top diplomat, however, meanwhile asserted that any harm inflicted on Iran as a result of the allies' hostile measures would lead to appropriate response, with full responsibility falling on those who opt for confrontation rather than cooperation. On your final of all reports, the death toll from a stampede at a political rally in southern India on Saturday climbed to 38, with women and children marking up most of the victims, according to media reports. The stampede occurred in the state of Tamil Nadu during the rally called by film actor Vijay in support of his political outfit, Tamalja Vitri Kazangam. V. Santhil Balji, a senior political leader of the state ruling party, Durvadia Montra Gazam, said that 46 of the injured were admitted to a private hospital and 12 others were being treated at a government facility. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed condolences over the loss of lives, calling the incident deeply saddening in a post he made on X. Dear viewers, that is all for now with your domestic and international news in brief. Until we are back with some more here on ERi-TV, stay tuned and watch more news here on ERi-TV. But until then, these are a recap of your today's major headlines. Foreign Minister Osman Saleh held series of bilateral meetings in New York. Seminar on integrated organic agricultural practices and more on your domestic. Poland briefly closes airspace on NATO increased presence in Baltic Sea. UN reimposes sanctions once lifted under nuclear deal sabotaged by West, and more on your international. From me and the broadcasting team here on ERi-TV, that is all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.